That's so crazy how you can think that this person is going to be, this is it. I'm good. And then something shatters and you're in this abyss for like a bit. And then out of nowhere,
Sunny said you get
new.
3 great ones in your life.
I'm sorry?
Sunny said you get 3 great ones in your life.
Who's Sunny?
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Like Cher?
Bed. Love.
Bed.
Love.
Beyond. Bed, love, beyond. Bed, love, beyond.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Bed Love Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love.
Like us.
Thank you for listening to us on Podbean, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, and
Google Play Music.
Please rate, review, like, and subscribe to us on any of the devices that you listen to. And episode 66 is Finding the One After the One. Yeah. I forget how I came up with this thing, but I was just like, man, that's crazy. And I remember when I went to I went to a trip in Florida, and I was talking with my friend who's married, and he was telling me about his supposed one, and we were just like going back and forth, and I was just like, man, that's so crazy how you can think that this person is gonna be this is it, I'm good, and then something shatters and you're in this abyss for like a bit, and then out of nowhere,
Sunny said you get
new.
3 great ones in your life.
I'm sorry?
Sunny said you get 3 great ones in your life.
Who's Sunny?
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Like Cher?
Bronx Tail, bitch!
Oh, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? All right, I'm a loser.
He knew what I was talking about.
And who Jenn means is like we have a guest to talk about that very thing, because I wanted him to talk about his story, because I heard it a long time ago, so I forgot a lot of the details, but it was very good. It was very, I guess, therapeutic to hear on my end. I was like, wow, like this is cool. Like I gotta get him on the show. So this is my personal friend George. What's going on, George?
How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Doing good.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the shit show.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna talk about the subject, but before we're gonna hit on some, daily dish. Like, do you have anything?
Nothing's really new. My boyfriend pissed me off today, though.
Oh, okay. What
I don't know.
happened?
Like, I hate when I say something like, "Oh, this bothers me," and then he's like, "He doesn't want to talk about it," because I bring it up a lot. So the thing that I bring up a lot is that the fact that he doesn't share our pictures on Facebook, it bothers me. Mm-hmm. Even though he has tagged me a couple times in places, he just doesn't really put anything on Facebook.
Right.
So occasionally if Marvel's coming out with a new movie, he'll share it.
I went to this movie with you.
No. If he'll put a trailer up.
Yeah.
And put one of those emoticons, he wants to see it.
Oh,
and
okay,
I'm
okay.
Great, babe. But or something maybe if there's some anti-Trump shit, maybe he'll post that. Maybe, probably not. Mm-hmm. So if it's funny. Yeah. But he doesn't really post on Facebook. Okay. So, and he doesn't even really have pictures of himself.
Right.
I think at some point he did, but I don't know.
Something happened.
So, I think since we started dating and my Facebook was an open wound mm-hmm. of my past.
Right.
He kind of cleaned up his and I cleaned up mine.
Right.
Regardless, he doesn't post pictures of us on Facebook. I tag him. He doesn't really accept the tags. It bothers me. I bring it up to him all the time. And he just tells me I'm a private person, and he kind of has this thing about, I'm not going to add you to my Facebook. We're not married. You know what I'm saying? He's if we're married, it's different. Okay. I guess because he feels it's more permanent, and he's got this it could fail at any moment attitude, because according to him, he's a Capricorn. All this stuff I'm just spitting out. Right. So whatever, it pisses me off, and sometimes I'll just let it go.
Wait, so you're not on his thing right now?
His Facebook now.
Okay.
I'm friends with him.
Yeah, that's one. Oh. And
I can comment on his stuff.
You mean the status thing?
No, there's no inner relationship.
Yeah,
or there's
okay.
no this is me and Jen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sometimes I just wanted to be known. Just one picture, just so when bitches from the past come back, they're not gonna be
or the future.
Oh, whatever. Better not. And
no, I mean whatever. A work friend or something.
like they're not like, oh, what you been up to? Apparently he's not dating nobody. So what's up, cutie? I don't know all that shit.
Yeah.
Just want to avoid it with a picture like, hi, this is us.
Yeah.
Bounce, bitch.
Yeah.
So
right.
I don't know. It sounds stupid, but it just bothers me sometimes. And like, he was like, oh, did you sleep good last night? And I was like, no, I didn't. And then I was like, oh, I was kind of up, like, overthinking this.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, okay, so how was the rest of your day? And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, can we not talk about it?
Right.
And there's basically nothing to talk about. Like,
you've probably exhausted
We've
it.
exhausted it.
Yeah.
This is what it is. He said, if and when we get married, then that would change. But right now, that's how he feels about it. And that's pretty much what it is. And he said he never put pictures of his other ex-girlfriends up. It's not like he's like punishing me or something.
Yeah.
And he does. I know his whole family. I've met all his friends.
Yeah.
I can't sit there and be like, oh, he doesn't really talk about me.
Yeah.
Like,
or you're not known or something.
Right. So I don't know.
How do you feel about that, George? Like, do you feel have you done that with have you always put up pictures of your past girlfriends or anything like that? Or?
Yes, I'm very public, so I put everything out there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at my Facebook page now, I have pictures of my current wife, my wife, and my child. I put up there as well. My wife, on the other hand, because of her position, her work, she doesn't like being public. She doesn't like me tagging her or her putting a lot of photos up on her.
See, and that's kind of like his thing too. Like, he works for like a union in the city, and he works with a bunch of guys, and a lot of people from his work are on his page, and they're all guys, and they kind of talk shit and are in each other's business, and he doesn't want to hear any of it. Whatever they may or may not say.
Yeah.
I know that.
I guess.
He showed a picture to one of his coworkers, he said, and his coworker was like, "Oh, she's white." He was like, "Yeah."
Does that matter?
But he's the kind of person who cares what people think and say.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
If somebody said something to me, I'd be like, "And bitch, what?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really care. So I mean, he does care. So I guess he said, right now, just to avoid everything, if when we have a family and when we're married. Obviously, yes, that's something I'm proud about, and at that point, whatever. But I think he also has the fear that if for some reason we break up, then it's oh, I've promoted my girlfriend, and now we don't have that anymore. So it's kind of embarrassing. Whatever the case is,
yeah.
Facebook curse.
I just didn't like being dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little frustrated, but I'll get over it.
Yeah.
I'll play nice later.
I mean I mean we've talked about this before too, but I think
you guys don't even want to talk about it anymore.
No,
Why would he?
No, it's fine. It's just that as long as he makes it known in his private life that you are a priority,
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I'm friends with his best friend on Facebook. Her and I chat sometimes, and I know his brothers, his sister, his mom. So so it's not like I'm a secret.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I mean?
that's the thing, because I know you didn't mean it this way, but you saying him saying oh if when we get married, blah blah. So it's gonna take him that long to care, but that's not the case. He cares now.
No, he cares now.
It's
he
he
just listens to social
whatever
media.
His freaking third grade teacher doesn't know about you.
Right.
Okay, but he loves you. It's been said multiple times, and he's shown it to you in multiple ways. So it should be okay. Granted, I'm not trying to dismiss your feelings. I completely understand what you mean. You want to be known, you want to be acknowledged. It's yo, we together. What?
Right.
So, but to me, it sounds like he's just keeping consistency. He said he's never done that with his other girlfriend.
Right.
So, I mean, this is gonna sound harsh, but why should you be any different?
Because I'm fucking awesome.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll wait.
But I get it.
And try to be patient and try to be nice.
Yeah.
Don't lose sleep over it.
I did last night.
Yeah,
I did.
Don't let it happen.
Yeah, I did last night.
No.
Yeah. I understand.
But yeah, nothing else is really new.
Mm.
I'm just waiting for, good things, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, what's going on with you fellas?
I mean, I'm all right. Last episode, we were talking about. Well, I talked about how that I was gonna.
We're sabbatical.
Yeah, my sabbatical. Oh well, George, you didn't know. I took in December on this podcast. I said I was gonna take a 6-month sabbatical from dating or whatever. Just concentrate on myself and blah blah blah. And through that time, you know, I guess I didn't really listen, and I was like, you know, messing with these chicks and whatnot.
Messing with these chicks. More than one?
You've heard every single one of these these women. What are you talking about?
Tell me more.
I want to hear more too.
No, I'll get through it. But yeah, and do you remember the movie Good Luck Chuck?
Yes.
Okay, so you know the premise, right? So I was keeping score, and the Good Luck Chuck shit was happening to me. And every time that I like either dated or at least confessed my adoration for the person, they would tell me, oh no, we can't, blah, blah, whatever. I was like, all right, fine, no problem. And then like in mere weeks, not only did they find somebody, but they found like their other person, or they eventually got married, like after like dating me. So I was just like, what the F? So this was like 6 for 6. Wow. Yeah. So I was like, you know,
batting 1,000.
And I was like, you know what? F this. I'm gonna like that's it. So Jennifer and I were counting down to June. It was like, all right, you know, I can go back on the prowl and start dating. But then like all this stuff started happening. I was like, fuck this, you know. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna concentrate on my own. But I know Jen wanted me to break it down for her, so I'm gonna break it down. So the first person we never really talked about, but she's included. I call her DR chick because she used to love going to DR.
Okay.
But she's white, and so we went out a long
white
time.
People, you can't go to DR.
Yeah, well, you can't. But but
okay. Noted.
we went out a long time ago, but after me, she started dating this guy, and then she like eventually like married him. I was like, okay, that's cool. So then of course, you know, my ex-fiance. Oh, and also this is a fun fact. I want to say thank you to this gentleman right here, George, because he was one of the first people to help me get through that whole shit. He was there when
pick you up off the ground.
Well, no, not to even pick me up off the ground. He was the one who helped me sell my engagement ring. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I don't know how it came up, but I was gonna keep it because I thought of it as an achievement, you know, like in my life. I was like, this is a big thing, like for me, you know. And he was like, no, you need to get rid of that. And I was like, but I don't want to. He's like, you have to. Like, you have to.
It was like my precious. Over there.
Yeah, it was precious. So he was like, nah, like, let's go. So you took me to the place where you got your ring, I believe.
Yes, initially I did.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, here, take it. And, you know, the guy took it, you know, he looked at it. He was like, all right, I'll give you this much. And I was like, all right, whatever, man. And I just took it. I just took, you know, the money. It was like cut in half. That felt horrible. But he was like, but no, like, you needed to do this, whatever. So, I mean, I believe I still have like pictures of it somewhere on like a hard drive or something like that. But I don't have it. And thank you for that, because that really was like the anchor that was like holding me down.
You're holding on to it.
Yeah. And like once it left, I was like, wow, I can like, you know, like move on and shit. So like, thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
He's awesome.
Oh, awesome.
From experience.
Yes, and that's
Been
why
there, done that.
And that's why you're here. So we're gonna talk about that. So of course, ex-fiance went out, boom, married the guy after me. That's cool. So we talk about Religious Girl, and you don't know about Religious Girl, but we went out for like a little bit. If you want to know more about her, you can go to episode 48. So she was seeing a guy who, like, she had mental health issues or whatever.
What?
You knew this. Stop it. Oh, you were doing that for him? No. Like, what? You don't say.
I think I forgot.
Oh. So after that, she started.
I don't know.
She started seeing this guy who mastered in mental health for school. And I was like, what the hell? And she
don't mean shit.
I know
I've
it doesn't.
mastered in mental health for school. I can't fix nobody. You gotta fix yourself.
No, but I'm just saying. I was just like, what the, like, that's serendipitous. It's crazy. And then of course, you know, yoga chick, and you know about her too. The vegan.
Yes.
Yeah.
The vegan.
Yeah. No, because we talked again. You know, he helped me out. We talked about it. late night after your friend's bachelor party.
That's correct.
Remember, I was driving you home.
It was an interesting night.
Yeah. And then you were like, and I was telling you, like, yeah, she doesn't eat meat, blah, blah, blah. And you were like, yo, basically you paraphrase like, you don't have to change yourself to be loved and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but, and then I think this is a little bit after we had that discussion about how do you know what you're going to sacrifice or what you're going to compromise on, because you never know. Like you know you're going to compromise something. So I thought that was going to be mine.
Steak though, man.
Not steak. Definitely not him. Yo, this dude can cook. Yo, when he's like, yo, I'm having a barbecue, you want to cook? Like I'm already at his house because he knows how to cook. He's an amazing chef. But he was like, yo, you don't have to change yourself to be loved. Like you really don't.
No, I definitely agree with that. I don't think you should change at all. There are compromises in love, but you shouldn't change the person that you are. That's what I completely agree on. So.
Yes, you agree on your own advice.
I agree on my own advice.
I think I was right.
Yes. And nobody should try to change you either.
Yeah. So this chick I didn't talk about, but she obviously fits. We'll call her Patty. So this chick a couple weeks ago.
Is Patty the girl who you went to the city with?
No. Okay. But she's next.
Okay.
So yeah, Patty. I knew her for like a bit. We hooked up, whatever. And then 19 days later, okay, I'm chilling on my Facebook, and then boom, she's happily in a relationship. Like boom, like relationship with whoever. And I was just like, the fuck kind of shit? What?
I love how he knows the days.
Hey, I have to be specific.
He knows like minutes and seconds.
to let you all know, okay? And now we get to
New York chick.
Yeah, the hiking chick, we'll call her because I went hiking with her. So hiking chick, all right. We went hiking, and then I told her about like I like you, blah blah blah, and she's like, oh, let's be friends. I was like, I care about you more than that. I was like, all right, fine, that's cool, no problem. Then 18 days later, all right, my friend, 18 days later, I freaking go on Facebook, and then I'm like, hold the F up. So like she writes, when your younger brother and sister by 10 plus years are getting married within a month of one another, and you are 35 and single, you just might feel a certain type of way. Until God expectedly blesses you with a new boo that you're proud to call your plus one. So I'm like, bitch, I just told you 2 weeks ago.
Almost 3.
Yeah, almost 3 weeks ago. I was like, well, what the hell? And then, she put the, what is it? The RFCPs. And, she put like her name, and then you saw that it was like 1 before, but then like she slashed both of them. She's like 2. Now we're going. And I was like, what? What's going on? And then and the funny thing was she hid the guy's name like under like a heart, whatever. And then a mutual friend of ours was like, oh, that's your new boo. And the person hiking girl was like, yeah, that's cool. And then me, I was just like, I'll be congratulatory. I was like, oh man, that's awesome, like good for you. And then our mutual friend was like, damn, I was hoping it was you. And I was like, oh shit.
Oh damn.
Yeah. I was like, ooh.
Like, so was I.
I was like, wow, like that's insane. So yeah, that's 6 for 6. So, and I was like, that's I don't like that whatsoever. So I was like, okay, I gotta do some thinking. And then like I was telling Jennifer, I saw this article, and it was called 12 Reasons Why Old Souls Have Such a Hard Time Finding Love. And I was like, let me read what this says. And I was like, yo, this is fucking me. Like, this is awesome. Yeah, and I'll put this on the website. You can read more about it. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was just very interesting, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm
I think you're an old soul. I do think you overthink. I do think that I guess maybe you should just check off your checklist so that you're like a clean slate for somebody. I mean, but at the same time, don't think so much about it. Like if you run into Starbucks for a unicorn frappuccino, And like some girl is like, oh my god, I have a unicorn frappuccino too. And she's like wearing like the newest Comic-Con t-shirt. Like, you should talk to her. You guys like that, don't you?
That was very vivid. What do you think, George?
I completely agree. You can set timelines and you can set deadlines, but don't close yourself off. If something does happen, like you said, your example, Starbucks with the unicorn frappuccino, I completely agree.
You're welcome.
So I guess you can have a goal. You can say, okay, I'm not going to date until June, but don't also slam the door shut because you might miss something. Mm-hmm. So keep your eyes open.
All right.
And just be.
Yeah, just be.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to be on POF or OkCupid, but just be. Mm-hmm. And I think it's good that you kind of in the midst of taking care of your checklist, maybe take a page out of like our friend Arvy's book. Which is like the fuck women. No, not that page.
Okay.
I don't even know if necessarily he does this like to meet women. I don't know that he does, but like he'll kind of just go out and like get involved in like little things like. There's like an art show. Like, you may not be interested in art, but like,
he does do that a lot. I see
like, there's like an art show or like, a poetry reading or, like there might be like a in-town Comic-Con, like just go to those things. Like, not only for fun for yourself, but like just to like network with like other people who are into the same things you are. And you never know what might happen. Mm-hmm. Like, get yourself out there, but not like out there with like your dick out,
Yeah.
So
right.
Find like a happy medium.
All right, cool. All right.
So today's podcast.
Yeah, today's podcast we're gonna talk about finding the one after the one, and I really like this dichotomy because I was looking at obviously the people involved, and I know that you went through it. You actually found your one. I lost mine, one, whatever, and you have somebody in the running. So I like how everybody is in a very good position. I would love everybody's perspective on this. So I'm gonna read short article about somebody in the same position that I'm in or whatever, but we can all relate. So this person was saying that I had such a lovely life. I met my significant other 7 years ago when we were both at university. We built a wonderful life together. We had a lovely house, nice car, went on amazing holidays. We were living the dream. I thought he was my forever. I was so happy. Engagement was just around the corner. I was sure. We had started putting money aside for our future, marriage and kids. In October, we came back from a romantic holiday. Then on Christmas Eve, out of nowhere, he said he could not do this anymore. He said he loved me and he wanted a future with me, but he just could not do it. Not a clue anything was wrong. He had been talking about what we'd call our son just a few days before. Just like that, I lost everything. I had to move back into my parents' house, lost my car, my financial stability, and my love. 7 years to nothing in a blink of an eye. And now I have to start my life again. I'm 27, and I know that's young, but I really feel like I'll never find anyone better for me. I'm terrified of dating again, and I am so scared to do this all by myself. Whilst I'm not a woman who needs a relationship, I've always seen getting married and having kids in my future, and I'm terrified it won't happen. I thought he was my forever. It was so much better than any other relationship I've had. We've matched on so many things. If he can do that to me after 7 years, I'm terrified I'll get hurt again, and my trust is gone. So I'd love to hear stories of yours about starting over again in your late 20s, early 30s, and finding a love even better after you've lost a person you thought was perfect for you. I could really do with words of encouragement and hope. So.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
Felt a little flashback pain
there. It's almost identical to my story.
Yeah?
Yeah, 7 years.
Please, share.
7 years. Very similar to the story you just read. I was in my 20s, early 20s, dated a girl. I always refer to her as the 7-year girlfriend or 7-year. So my 7 year started early 20s, right out of high school. I'd say freshman year of college, and then we started dating. I went for 7 years. Everything seemed fine. It seemed perfect. And then all of a sudden, when I was getting ready to propose, I actually purchased the ring. I never made it as far as Martini as showing her the ring or giving it to her. But everything leading up to that.
Wait, you purchased it?
I purchased it. Yeah, I purchased the ring. And that's another interesting story, too, who I ended up selling it to. But the ring, I guess, had bad luck because the person I ended up selling it to was one of my friends, and they ended up getting divorced, too.
Oh, wow.
So,
Side note.
So it was a bad ring. But again, 7 years. Everything seemed perfect. Everything was fine. I was finishing school. She ended up, she was almost finishing school. She went to grad school after that. And as we're planning everything, everything is set in motion already. She pulls the same thing. After 7 years, to me, everything seemed okay. There was no signs. There weren't anything. There wasn't any sign. And all of a sudden, she started reevaluating our relationship. And I want to be with you, but I can't be with you right now. And then it was just strange after 7 years. You think you know somebody for that amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's what ended up happening. And then we just ended up splitting up, and it was hard. I went through the same thing that Martini ended up going through. And I was pretty much devastated because everything was set up. And I always referred to it as when somebody would ask me, it was almost like withdrawal. I was going through withdrawal. Yeah. It was almost like an addict, somebody who's an addict who's addicted to either alcohol or drugs, and all of a sudden somebody just takes it away from you. Yeah. And you hit rock bottom. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was at that time. And the only thing that got me out of it, and again, I'm very self-conscious about myself, so I would always say to myself, well, how am I going to go out and date again after 7 years? Yeah. I don't know what the dating game's like. And I was looking for somebody. I signed up for all those websites, eHarmony and everything like that, and that was the worst thing I could have done.
Why do you say that?
I wasn't ready for it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Even though I wanted to get out there, I definitely wasn't ready for a long-term commitment or a relationship at that time. Right.
Did you at least go on? Did you get dates from there?
No, I actually signed up. I filled out my whole profile, and I ended up not following through with it. I just left it there to hang out. Mm-hmm. And then the only thing that helped me get over was realizing, and again, fixing everything that I had wrong with my life at that time, whether it was financial or something to that effect. I looked at my life and I said, let me fix what I need to fix first before I go out there and start looking for a serious relationship. And again, another thing that helped was finally getting out there. And when I was ready to start dating or start seeing somebody, it made me realize that I'm a good guy. Right. And people are interested in me. Yeah. So that was the hardest thing to get over, especially after 7 years. Nobody's going to like me. Nobody's going to date me. I don't know what to do at this point. And again, at that point, I was still young,
how long of a hiatus did you take?
It was probably about, I want to say about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, about a year. And then I took
from when you broke up, like what hiatus are you talking about? From when he broke up to when he started dating?
Like seriously dating?
Seriously dating, yeah. It was about a year and a half around that time frame. There were some, at that point, because I was in my early 20s, I went through my rebel phase after the breakup.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I was like, F this, I'm going out there. So, so I had some interesting stories about that, too. But it's once you realize that there are people that are interested in you, and at that point, then there's a point of no return. I didn't look back at my old relationship. Mm-hmm. I realized that she wasn't the one, even though at the time I thought she was.
You gonna say something?
No, I'm just intently listening.
What made you realize that she wasn't the one, other than her saying that she didn't want you to be her one?
I think that's it. That's what made me realize it. Because leading up to that point, everything seemed perfect. Everything was picture perfect. Yeah. Again, dating for 7 years, we used to travel together. We had a great time. We are lots of mutual friends. That I always say, after looking back at it, the hardest thing was losing those mutual friends, because that was the hardest point. And I ended up taking a lot of her friends, and they just stayed with me. So
really,
my best man Brian, he was one of her best friends. And so I ended up pulling, and then that also made me feel good. That made me feel like, wait a second, I'm the good guy here.
Right? Yeah. No, because I was gonna say, like, were people on your side when the breakup happened?
Yeah.
So they thought it was her, like something was up with her.
They thought it was her. Everybody was trying to help us because they all loved us together.
Yeah.
So they would always invite me over and they would talk to me. Just give her time. And I think we had this discussion. Give her time.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll come around. But by the time I did give her time, I realized I don't need her. I can live without her.
Right.
I can move on.
Did she ever come back?
Yeah, she did come back. She tried to come back.
How long after?
That was about 6 months after the breakup.
Really?
Yes, it was about 6 months. She waited, and I think what made her realize that she lost me, and again, I'm not confident at all, but I ended up going away on a business trip.
Yeah.
And I went to California for 2 weeks. And there would be the communication. Even though we broke up after 7 years, there were so many things in common. Occasionally I would get a text message or I would get an email or a phone call. How are you doing? And this and that. And then I went away and that stopped. I cut all ties with her because I was just busy with work. And then while I'm out in California, I end up meeting somebody. So, and it ended up being a coworker at our California branch, and it was at a Christmas party. So everybody was drinking, we were all having fun, and at that moment, that's when I realized, wait a second, I can date other people, or I can hook up, or do whatever.
Yeah.
So then, when I came home from that trip, it was around Christmas time. She contacted me. She knew I was coming home. She contacted me.
I don't mean to interrupt, but were you guys actually engaged, or you had just bought the ring?
No, I just bought the ring. I never made it as
But she kind of knew it was coming?
She knew. All her friends knew, so I knew she knew. And there was a whole trip planned around to Italy and all of that stuff.
Oh, my God.
But yeah.
Silly girl.
I definitely, yeah. She definitely knew. And
damn.
Yeah, so then she did try and come back to get back to your question.
Yeah.
And at that point, I realized, wait a second, I don't need you. Like, I have somebody else, and we were just talking. There was nothing serious with the girl in California at all.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I'm like, wait a second, I can go out, I can meet new people. I'm not addicted to you, I guess.
Right.
So I realized that I'm not addicted to you, and that's at that moment. That's when everything changed. We did try and go out a couple times after that, and
after her coming back.
After her coming back,
okay.
And it was really me at that point. I changed as a person, and I was more angry at her.
Of course.
So I was almost taking it out on her.
You were in that stage of
denial.
Yeah. First is denial, and then is anger.
Yes. No, absolutely.
Pretty soon it was acceptance.
Because you haven't seen her in that time, so once you saw her, you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna let you have it.
I'm gonna let you have it."
Yeah.
So we went out a couple times, and it was pretty much. I became the catty person at that point. Everything bothered me, and I would always start arguments with her, and I ended up ruining it completely at that point. Not that I really wanted it to work out, but it was definitely my fault that it never got back together. And where I am today, looking back, I'm happy that happened.
Oh, well, yeah. What makes you think that she wanted to come back? Was it because of jealousy, or because like, no, I fucked up? He really was a good guy.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I think it may have been a little bit of jealousy. I don't know, and I can't get in her mind, or I never will, where she would say, "Oh, I fucked up."
Yeah.
So I don't think I know the answer to that one.
That's fine. Just spitballing.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Jeez.
Interesting, right?
Okay, so when did you meet my friend, your wife?
Yes. Well, there was a lot that led up to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Because we went 7 years. So we're going back. That's probably around 2000 and we're showing my age. It's about 2006 at that time. That's when I broke up with the 7-year.
Yeah.
And then there was a big hiatus. I met my wife in 2010.
Oh, wow.
So during that whole time frame, that was my rebel phase. That was when I would go out.
You need to have it.
Yeah, and I released. Like
in more ways than one.
But yeah, I was shitting where I shouldn't have. What is that saying?
Don't shit where you eat.
Don't shit where you eat.
Yeah.
It was a lot of coworkers and 2 girls at the same time from the same job, and it was just craziness.
Wow. Did they ever find out?
No, nobody ever found out.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
he's
good.
He
is good. Jesus.
And then I ended up meeting a girl, another coworker at the same job, and I ended up moving in with her.
Oh wow!
And that was more that was moving in with her out of, I guess, need or necessity. Okay. She had an apartment. She invited me to move in with her, and after my 7 years, I moved back with my parents.
Right.
So I found that as like an escape. Oh wow, let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
And we had fun or whatever, but she ended up turning to be a psycho. And
how long was that?
That was short lived. That was only about, I want to say, less than a year. I lived with her in the same house.
Okay.
And the hardest part about that was going back home.
Oh yeah.
Because it was definitely no love there at all.
Wow.
It was just more infatuation, I guess, physical.
Infatuation. That's like the word of the day.
It was just, I guess, at that point, just sex.
Yeah.
Anything.
Right.
So,
Yeah, right.
Sex and an outlet because she had an apartment. So.
Yeah.
But there were definitely no feelings there at all.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you met your wife at 2010.
In 2010.
Where did you guys meet? How did that go down?
Wasn't looking for anything at that point. It was about 3 weeks after I moved back home, after the crazy girl incident. I moved back home at that point, and my neighbor, who I've been friends with forever, she invited me over. It was during the World Cup. I'll never forget it. Spain ended up winning the World Cup, and she called me. She found out that I moved back home. And she was like, "Do you want to come over, have sangria, and we'll celebrate the World Cup win?" And I'm like, "I'm not a big soccer fan, but who cares? Let's go.
Like a sangria. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go." And she lived down the block, so I could walk there. I didn't have to worry about driving. So I went there. We had our sangria. We had, I think, a pitcher of sangria, and then all of a sudden, her cousin shows up. Her sister, her cousin, and her sister's boyfriend, and they were at the beach somewhere in South Jersey, and they showed up later in the evening, and then all of a sudden when I first saw her, that was it. I was like, wow. And
so you knew?
I knew right away.
As soon as you saw her?
Yeah, I knew right away.
Damn, how does that happen, yo? Like, that's crazy.
I knew, and if you ever talked to her, and I'm sure you have, I don't know if you heard her side of the story, but there were a lot of cheesy lines that I put out there, and it was instantly cheesy lines from me. And so that's how I know right away.
But how did you know though? Like, how did you? I know that's always. I know everybody always asks that, and I know everybody says that it's hard to, manifest to say what it is. But like, I'm gonna ask anyway. How did you freaking know that like this was going to be your wife?
I don't.
Did you know it was going to be your wife, or are you like, oh no, we're going out?
Initially, like, we're going out. I'm taking you out on a date. That's how confident I was. I was like, and the wife, that all progressed. So then we started building a relationship. We became best friends. It sounds so cliche, but we became best friends. We are best friends, and
that's awesome.
And that's where we're at now.
So do you believe that people should be best friends before like they date? Or
No, definitely. I don't believe that. We became best friends.
Okay.
Throughout the process.
Okay.
So it started from the first date and the things that we had in common, and we don't have everything in common. I don't think there's a perfect match where everything's going to be. You're going to have everything in common with your spouse. Yeah. But at that moment, that's when I know.
So awesome.
That's so awesome. It really is. I'm just listening to this. It's awesome. All right, so. What happened on the first date? What was the first date?
So there were a lot of cheesy lines that I threw out there, and
yeah,
a lot of cheesy lines, and we both smoked at the time. So she ran out of cigarettes. Oh, I'll go get your cigarettes. What's your brand and all of that? And then she was drinking Captain Morgan's, and the bottle was running low. I'll go out and get the Captain Morgan's for you.
Oh, so she was feeling you too, or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
She'll probably say
she
no.
had a lot of Captain Morgan in her.
Yeah, that too. So.
No, but I'm just
saying. It worked out. So either way.
No, but I'm just saying, like, she's going after. So I want to know, like, if she felt like the same way too. Like, she was like, that sounds like she's very more.
He was going for her.
I was going for her.
I thought she was going for you.
No,
I
was going for her. So you have to ask her her side of the story.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll say no.
right. Okay, I'm sorry.
But I tried, and then we had the one person in common, her cousin, my friend, and I was going to her, and I'm like, what's her story? After the whole hangout at the barbecue after the World Cup win. What's her story? Is she dating anybody? And then that's where it started. That's where I planted the seed that I liked her. And then I'm sure her cousin went to her, and then my wife, she's very I guess, very reserved. So she would tell her cousin, no. And finally, after persistence, we started at that time. We were doing Facebook Messenger. She still had a flip phone. And this is 2010. So she still had the flip phone. And we were doing Facebook Messenger, and the problem with that is she only just checked her Facebook when she got home. So it was later at night. And then there was one night I was out at a bar. She ended up Facebook messaging me, and I said, wouldn't it be easier if I just gave you my phone number? And that was another cheesy line.
Effective.
So we ended up exchanging phone numbers and then texting that night. And then from there, we started making plans for the first date at that point.
Okay.
Aww. I love that story. I mean, sorry, but I had a 7-year guy too. But I mean, we weren't the 7-year guy. Like, I think when I was, I think we started dating when I was like 20. So I think I thought we were supposed to be married, but like at 20, I don't think you really know what's going on per se. So I didn't really think about it. But I mean, definitely my ex, I thought that like, okay, this is it.
Wait. At the 7-year mark, you were 20? Is that what you were saying?
No, I was 27.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, but we like dated 7 years. I think there was like a bit of an off period. We broke up and then got back together. I think Brooklyn was like in between there for a moment. Short lived. But I just kind of thought we were the one at the time.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that now. Like, I don't think I knew
what that was.
Really, but because he's the first person who like moved me out of my house, and we lived together, and we were cohabitating, we were having Thanksgiving together, and I was going to his family's house all the time. Like, it just seemed like that was the path of where it was going, right?
All the
and
pieces.
we talked about like, oh, when we have kids, and I just seemed right at the time. But now, as an adult who thinks clearly and has been through enough relationships to kind of know what was what. Yeah. I think that we both were trying to like grow up too fast.
Okay.
And I think ideally if he would have stayed on the path of being a good man, it might have progressed into a marriage, but he hit that like 27, 28 mark, and he was like, I haven't fucked bitches yet. I gotta go out and do that. I'm gonna go send dick pics. I'll be right back, Jen. And then we broke up. And then I had my fun. And then I had my fun. And a bunch of other bad relationships. But I did think when I met my ex that he was the one, because like I had dated kind of like after the 7-year guy, I had dated like a bunch of like psychos. Moved one in with me, and
it wasn't me.
And then
she had a really good one too, but that was short lived as well.
Yeah, we won't go into that right now. So I when I met my ex, like we were friends first. Like I met him through friends, and like I just like liked him. I was like, he's really cool. Like I get along with him. We kind of like built up a friendship. We would go to dinner like once a week as friends. He didn't share his food as friends, and I was like, that's weird. Like, he's greedy, but I like him. I was like, maybe if we were dating, he'd share his food. He did. And then we dated, and like everything was good. I mean, I had some like medical issues, and like he was right there by my side the whole time, and like that kind of like solidified my thought process of like this could actually be the one. He wasn't perfect, and as we grew towards marriage or towards the conversation of marriage, I learned that marriage isn't like, I'm gonna phrase it bad, because even now as like friends, if we have the conversation, he's like, I never said I didn't like marriage. I just said it's not important to me. Like if I wanted to get married, he would have gotten married. But it wasn't like I wanted somebody who was gonna be like, babe, we're getting married and it's gonna be awesome. Like, and he just was never gonna be that guy. And when it came to kids, like he kept saying like, it's not something I want now. And I'm like, you're 30, like when do you think you'll know? And I'm a few years older than him, so I was just like, okay. And then like at the time I kind of just stuck with it because like he was such a great guy and 20 times better than the guys I dated before. But it kind of just got to the point where I was just like, okay, our differences just started to clash, and eventually we broke up. It wasn't anything dramatic. I mean, we kind of just like, okay, we definitely want different things, and this is not what I thought it was. But, you know, I had a conversation with him post our breakup, like about getting married, because 2 of my mutual friends who started dating their boyfriends at the same time as I started dating him were at the time now married, but recently engaged at the time. And I was like, oh, it's like, you know, really weird that these 2 are engaged now. And he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you would have been pressuring me to get married at this point. I was like, well, damn. I clearly made the right decision. You know, and then I waited a year. I figured I kind of took like a little sabbatical, like martini, had a little bit of fun, and just realized that dating kind of sucks. And I met my current boyfriend, and we are kind of best friends. Like, it's cool. I like that dynamic. Like, I can hang out with him and do absolutely nothing. We're still having fun. You know, we can kind of just lay around in bed all day or lay around the couch or go out and walk around Home Depot, and it just seems like a good time for some reason. Even though, like, if it was with anyone else, I'd be like, what are we doing? You know, but he's like, babe, let's go to Home Depot. I'm like, okay, I'll go anywhere with you. And we're just like shopping through Home Depot. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we talk about getting married, and that he's like all like.
She talks about getting married.
No. Like, he'll sometimes talk about it. Mm-hmm. Like, but he's all like, I have a plan in my head. Don't ruin it. That's what he always says. Don't ruin it.
Do you know what that plan is?
No, it's in his head. He's not telling me.
Well, wouldn't that ruin it? If he did tell you?
I don't know. I want to know if there's a plan at all. So, I mean.
No, but sometimes
I don't feel like there's a plan. I feel like he's going to wing it.
You're calling his bluff?
No, sometimes women ruin it. Didn't you tell me the story about like how your wife kept effing up your engagement thing? Like, you were gonna do like 3 times, but like she kept messing it up because she was so thirsty.
Yep.
So she kept messing it up. She kept messing. He had to do it. That's nerve wracking. Okay, to get down on one knee and do that. Thing.
Anyway, he hasn't asked my dad yet. He's like, I have to ask your dad first. I'm like, you better give him a call. Like, I mean, it's right there. Call him. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Do you think your dad would tell you if you guys had that, if he had that talk with him?
No, they wouldn't tell me.
Well, that's good.
But my parents love him. I love him. Mm-hmm. Other than the Facebook thing. I mean, I still love him despite the Facebook thing.
I would hope so.
But I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, hopefully he is. But then, like, if he's not, then, especially at this age, to go back into the dating thing would be so scary.
But you don't think it'd be easier since everybody at this age knows what they want?
That's what I thought. He's older than me.
That's true too.
So I'm 38. Right. He's 40.
Mm-hmm.
You would think he'd be like, we need to hurry up and do this.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I have a plan. Just sit tight.
Just
sit tight, motherfucker. Like,
okay, but
in his defense, we've only been dating a year. So,
but also too, like, I think that's much better than your ex-boyfriend saying, "Oh no," or the infamous Brooklyn saying, "Whatever." You know, at least he's saying, "I have a plan. Don't ruin it," which means whatever that plan is, you're involved in it.
Yeah, he always says, like, all the time, he's like, "Do you not think I think about these things? Do you not think I think about you?" And I'm like, I don't really know because you don't fucking tell me, so. And he's like, just calm down, be easy. And I'm like, but I mean,
freaking chicks, yo.
I know, we're really bad. But like, I do hope he's the one, you know, even though I thought the last one was the one.
Yeah.
But I think that part of it is, and maybe because you were younger, you can kind of relate that, like, when you meet somebody and they meet like your qualifications at this point, like sometimes when you're like in it with that person, you're like, well, it's not going to get better than this. You know, like, this is good.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, this might be a little off or that might be a little off, but it's not going to get better than this. Like, you kind of just feel that way. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's the one. Like, and I think a lot of people make that mistake. And I definitely want to say I made that mistake with my ex. Like, I didn't have that, like, I had that connection to him, but it was like that friend connection, which I know now because we're friends. Well, not friends, but we'll like text here and there just about random media shit. But like, we're friends, so that it's like, that was really all we had. Like, we get each other's jokes, and he was nice to me, and he was there when I needed him. And I knew he wouldn't, like, abandon me when I needed him, like others might have. So I was like, oh, he's the one.
Right, yeah.
you know, but in reality, like, that's not always going to be enough to sustain a relationship. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of times people make the mistake of saying, oh, this is the one, like, this is the person, like, you know, you guys can go on vacation together and you guys get along, and, you know, but maybe there's something missing, or maybe there's not. But I feel that, like, when you actually meet that person, you're like, oh, that person wasn't really the one. Like, right. I overshot that. Sorry about that, guy.
I think the whole label thing of she's the one or he's the one, I think that gets overplayed.
Yeah,
it definitely does, and it all depends on your age. Like you said, in your early 20s, at that moment you're the one, but then things change. You grow up, and
absolutely,
and now you're not the one. So
yeah. no, it's very hard.
But I think people stress too much on who's the one. Like, you're the one or you're not the one.
Yeah. No, but that's why I was so curious as to why, like, how you found out, like, you know, your wife, like, walks into the room and you're like,
she's
boom,
the one.
That's it. And I'm just like, how do people do that? Because, I mean, I'll just speak for me, because I'll hear those stories and, like, you'll just, like, sit down in the room like, all right, who's coming in the doorway? Who's coming in the doorway? Because you want to.
That's thirsty.
You want to know. That is thirsty. No, but you want to see. You want to get that spark too. You want to know how that feels, because, like, well, that person got it that way. Like, how is that the way that it's supposed to happen? And yeah, and everybody has such a different definition of what the one is. We even had an entire podcast about that, about what the one is, and if we even believe it. And I think we came up with the, I guess, conclusion that it is separate for every individual. Mm-hmm. You know, there is no collective the one. You know, so because I mean, you I believe you saw me and my ex-fiance, like, quite a bit. So yes. Like I thought we were, like, you know, great for each other, and the one too. And you know, and now that I saw, and I told you, well, not saw, like, visually, but that I saw who she's with, I definitely was not the one for her. It's like, she's good. You know, like, she is straight. You know, and she is getting everything that she wanted that I cannot provide for her just because of who I am. Mm-hmm. So that guy is her one, most definitely. So it's, I don't want to say it's a crapshoot, but it kind of feels like it is. Like, you're either the one or you aren't. You know, like, do you feel, I don't know, like, do you feel that you can kind of try and, like, prevent that? Because you gave us your story about the one, you gave us your story about the one, I just gave my story about the one. Like, do you think we can have better senses, or like a sixth sense of, like, nope, you're not it, sorry. You know, like,
I think, like George said, like, when you get older, what you want and what you need kind of changes.
Yeah.
So what may be good for you in your 20s, in your 30s is like, yeah, it's not gonna cut it. I don't care. I don't care, like, how good you're
I don't care. You can jug, like, a freaking, like, beer.
No,
like, in one
like, you know, like, I don't care that you got
session.
a fat ass. Like, can you cook, bitch? Like, no. I mean, like, I don't know. No, I'm just being silly, right. But, like,
no, I get it.
You know, I think it just changes, like, and it is true. Like, what you want, what you need, and what you're going to need in the future, like, those things start to become more of a presence in your life.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, like, this is someone who I was, like, having fun with and stuff like that, but is she going to be, like, the person who I can sit at a table with and be like, babe, we're in a financial crisis, how are we going to make this work? Is she going to be a good team player? Is he going to be a good team player? Yeah. You know, or it's the person that you're, like, having fun going to tiki bar with on the weekends. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never been to a tiki bar. I've been past it once. But, like, and I think that changes, but like you said, the one is different for everyone. And I think now, like, dating, like, in my, like, late 30s, I was like, okay, are you good husband material? Like,
your priorities
and what I want in a husband, like, what I'm going to need, what I'm going to require. Right. And, like, I'm not asking for much, but I do need you to be there for me when times get tough and not freak out and not bail. You know, I need you to, like, be someone who's, like, answering your phone and I'm like, oh, sorry, I left my phone in my boy's car. Like, nobody cares. You know, like someone who's responsible and things like that. And I think what you put out is different too when you're older. You know, like when you're younger, you're kind of like out and you're just like, hey, what's up? You know, and like when you're older, you're like, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. Like, I bring the table and this. You're
out front a lot sooner when you're older. There's no games, and you're not playing any games.
Well, you're trying not to play any games.
You're trying not to play any games.
Even though there will always be games. You're trying not to play them, yeah.
But I just think, I don't know. Like, what I got from George's story, I don't feel like he saw her and he was like, this is going to be my wife. I think he was more like, this looks like someone I would totally be into, and I need to get to know her.
Yes.
You know, and that's awesome how you guys, like, built a friendship, because I do think that's important. Like, and like, even though like I kind of joked on the podcast about my relationship, like it took a long time to get to where we are. Like, we started dating, we met in February, we went on our first date like at the end of February, like 2 weeks later, and then I didn't see him until like 3 weeks after that, but we talked every day. And then like we didn't really kiss until like May, and we started talking in February. So that's like a long time just for a kiss. And we went on a couple dates. I was like, oh, I'm going to cook him dinner. I'm going to have him over. And, you know, like we like stayed up till like 4 a.m. watching horror movies that we both liked, you know, and we were like bonding. I'm like, oh my God, you love that horror movie too? You know, but honestly, I wouldn't take that back for anything, because that gave us like the time to like actually become friends. You know, like now we like know what we have in common and what we don't have in common, which there are things, you know, but that's important. I think like you can't just like rush into like the love and the, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think friendship is, or being a best friend or finding a best friend in that person, it's definitely a great basis for a relationship. And it definitely helps when times are going bad, because you can always confer on them. You can go to them. You can be open and honest with them, and they're always open and honest with you, or at least you hope so. And it's just great communicating like that with a best friend, someone you feel that you can always go to when you have a problem. She's the first one I usually call when I have a problem, or then I'm usually the first one that she'll call. So other than her mom, she calls her mom a lot, but mom always comes first.
All do.
Yeah, mom comes first, and then I'll come. But somebody that you can rely on too. So it's definitely a great base for a good relationship, a great foundation.
That's cool. And you're saying, and you've said that you reached that point, right? Like you guys are like really good friends, like best friends, whatever. That's awesome.
Yeah, like he'll like even though like he'll text me and be like, oh, you know, the schedule's changing again at work. This is the schedule. What should I pick? I'm like, it's your life, man. I'm like, pick what you want. And he's like, I know, but I have to think about like us now and the relationship. And I'm like, look, pick whatever works for you and we'll make it work. Don't worry about it. You know, and I think it just took that time to get to that point where, you know, he knows I'm at home bitching like, oh my God, you're not going to be off on weekends anymore. But like, I'm trying to be patient with it. But it just takes time. And I think like as you build that, then that's when you get that feeling now as an adult, like that's the one. Because I know that like when the shit hits the fan, that this is the person who's going to have my back. So...
And they also prove it like constantly too, like you know, like I know it's like sometimes you would have like a freak out, whatever, and then oh well, he was there, cool, that's cool points for him, you know, like it builds, you know,
right?
He's solidifying the foundation,
right? Yeah,
I'm trying to say. Well, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. So I got this article, but which actually ties into the joke that you guys embarrassed me on. Well, what was it? What was that quote that you said from the movie? You want to say it again?
Oh, from the Bronx Tale?
Yeah, what was it again?
That you get 3 great ones in a lifetime.
Okay, that was it? That was a quote?
Yeah, that was a quote.
Okay, because I have this article that says there are 4 types of love you'll experience in your search to find the one.
Well,
so
we're overzealous with 4, Jesus.
No, but I was reading this. I was like, you know what, this sounds pretty cool. So I want to know, I mean, obviously, please don't say names, but like, I just want to know, once I say like, you know, the 4 loves or whatever, if it applies to you, like, okay, I can attach this description to this person. All right, so And this was from EliteDaily.com, and they were talking about the guy. I guess he was the latest person in The Bachelor, Nick Val. And he says, the 36-year-old bachelor is the first to know love can be grand, while it also has the potential to toy with your heartstrings until they snap. Love can be destructive, deceitful, and hurtful, yet it has the power to create the unequivocal beauty of a dream coming to life. It takes experiencing these different types of love for one to recognize you found a love that's unparalleled. Nick Val went through 2 heartbreaking seasons of The Bachelorette where he thought Andy and then Caitlyn were the one for him, but both of them turned out to not be his soulmate after all.
Shocker.
Even though the pain must have been unbearable, Val did what he had to do to move on. He appeared on Bachelor in Paradise, resuming his quest for love, but didn't find the one there either. 4th time's a charm, I guess, and it seems as though number 4 truly is the magic number. Here are the 4 types of love you'll experience in your search to find the one. Number 1, filio. This is when you learn in puppy love, your first love. It's the love and affection exuded by your soul and comes quite naturally. There's nothing like it, and it's unfortunately not a love that lasts in the long run. It keeps you on a high for a while until you realize it can only be tentative and has its restrictions. Everybody have puppy love? Can you attach that to anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah? You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Number 2 is eros. This is what you experience when you think you found love. It's the love radiated by your body. This kind of love has the potential to break our hearts because it's only backed by lust and a deep sexual desire you have for someone. It's essentially with the Heidi you cannot stop thinking about, but it's all about the fluff and exterior you crave. There's not that passionate, strong emotional connection. Anybody can relate? Do you have a person?
That personal? I missed.
Oh, you want okay?
Just read the last line again.
The last one?
The last line.
There is not that passionate, strong emotional connection.
So it's physical.
I guess.
Yes, strictly physical.
Anyway, moving on.
So that's a yes from Jennifer. George, you got somebody in your Rolodex of rebelness?
Maybe the girl you moved in with, it was just physical.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, I guess. But even that,
he's like, I don't even want to give her that.
Yeah, I
Damn.
Give her that. And I scream at one of my friends because he's the one that told me. He was like, "Yeah, go for it. You have nothing to lose."
Are you still friends with that friend?
Oh,
Yeah, that's Brian still.
That bastard. Number 3, storage. This is the kind of love that you have when you're in a long-term relationship. It's powerful and a forever kind of love, but you may feel as though you love that person out of habit or obligation because you've been with them for so long. This type of love may be holding you back from your goals, thriving in your career, or letting yourself grow as a person. Anybody can...
I would say my 7-year relationship falls into that category.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Jen?
Yeah, it's a hard habit to break. So
I'd say, yeah. I think that, I think the guy who threw the water.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think I just loved him out of habit because... And I have love for him as a person, like...
Yeah.
But I just, was like, oh, you're my boyfriend, and I'll just deal with all your bullshit.
Right.
Because I need to have a boyfriend right now.
Jeez.
I know.
And number 4 is agape. This is the unconditional love you have for someone whom you would do anything for. It's the wild kind of love that makes you feel as though life would be incomplete without that person by your side. You are more than willing to put that person before yourself in the name of love because you know he or she is the one. Once you fall into each one of these 4 kinds of love, it's easy to distinguish the difference between them. Do you feel that that's true?
No, because I don't. While you were reading that, I was like, I felt that for another person at a different time in the beginning.
Okay.
And then I don't anymore. And then I put them into one of those other categories that you just spoke of. But now I could say, yes, I feel that for my current boyfriend.
Right.
You know, but at the time when you're in the relationship and you're starting, you know, you feel, you honestly, even though now you look back and you'll be like, that girl was a bitch, I hate her or whatever. But at the time, you still did feel that. You did feel like, oh my God, I would do anything for this person.
You'll always feel number 4 in in the current relationship.
Yeah, but you're always going to feel in the current, but you always felt it at some point, or you wouldn't have even given anything else to that person.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying, George?
I understand what you're saying. The last one I definitely currently feel about my wife, and I would do anything for her. I don't think I felt that way about any of even my 7-year relationship. Now thinking back on it, so I'm a little bit different. So
okay.
So I think
which is fine.
I can definitely find 4 different people to fill those 4 categories. The last one definitely being my wife.
Yeah.
Who I would do anything for.
Yeah.
So, but that again, I'm different. So.
What's your sign?
Yeah.
What's your sign?
My Cancer.
Oh. I don't know anything about you guys.
my ex-fiance was a Cancer, so I get you. I got you.
Pisces don't compartmentalize. I can't say that word ever. Yeah.
That's a tough one to say. Compartmentalize?
Yeah, compartmentalize. They don't?
I don't. Like, when you go into a relationship, you're like, I love him. He's awesome. I could do anything for this person.
Yeah.
You know, but then it changes because we give 100% from the door.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's where we fuck up.
Yeah. I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So in the beginning, you're like, oh my God, I love this person. I would do anything for them. And then, like, the cloud falls down and the reality sets in. And you're like, you're just like, you're like number 2.
Right.
Sorry, my bad.
Right.
That could have gone somewhere.
Your number 1 changed to number 2.
Right.
And I definitely think that too, because if you have a current number 1 now, or the one, God forbid anything were to happen, let's say my wife were to cheat on me or something like that, she wouldn't be my number 1 anymore at that point. So it changes. Yeah. You thought up to that point that person was number 1.
Right.
It changes, but I don't see that happening. But right now, she's my number 1.
Go wife.
Yeah, definitely go wife.
I better say that if she listens to this.
That's funny. No, I mean, but no, that's awesome. I mean, that was a really.
I do think
good
that
talk.
would be good advice to say that, you know, if you do have the one and it turns out that it's not the one, that, you know, if you were to take anything away from this, that you don't like become discouraged or, you know, feel like, oh my God, the world is over. It was funny. My niece actually texted me last night and she was like, let me see if I can find it. Because it's so cute. She's like 20. So.
Young love.
It's like young lesbian love. It goes so much deeper than that. You have no idea. Let me see if I can read the conversation. She goes, do you believe there's such thing as the one? Like that there's only one. I think that there are 3 great ones. I'm just sticking to that. I go, but one sticks for good. And then she's like, 3 great ones. Okay, LOL. So you can't feel the love with more than one person in your life, right? Obviously not all at the same time. And I was like, yeah, you're not going to love 2 people at the same time. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, you just may love 2 or 3, maybe more people like that. You feel like they're the one at different times in your life.
Yeah.
She's struggling with the fact that she's talking to a married woman. And the woman is like, oh, I'm infatuated with you. And you, then she asked me, she's like, what does smitten mean? I was like, you make her happy. Yeah. And she's like, and that's confusing for her because she is the type of person who's kind of like, she gets attached quickly. Yeah. So this girl's fucking with her head. I'm going to have to beat her ass. But I don't know. Like, she's a young person. So, like, I know she's been in love before because her girlfriend who she had, you know, she did do everything for her. Yeah. She moved states and mountains. And to this day, she's like, I always wonder how she's doing. But she just recently found out that she got married. So.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah, that girl got married.
Who?
The one who is the heroin user.
Oh.
Not the ex-girlfriend.
Oh, I was like, whoa.
No. Her first ex-girlfriend. Okay. Who she moved back to Florida for.
Right. Okay.
She moved and went to the army and got married. But I told her that she probably just got married because you get more money when you're in the army. And not to take it personal. True. But so, that's her attachment. She always has like that thing for her.
So with So both of you guys, of course, you quoting from your favorite movie apparently. How do you know?
Second favorite movie.
Yes, I know. How do you?
Not Moonstruck.
It's my top 5.
No, I thought it was gonna be High Fidelity was your first.
High Fidelity is, but Moonstruck is like slowly
It's
moving. It's like my number
it's creeping
one.
up. Okay, I feel you. What do you mean when you say there were 3 good ones? I guess the most that impacted your life. Is that what you guys mean?
I guess it's like 3 people who you give your heart to, and it's at different
that you have given your heart to.
Yeah,
right?
it's at different stages in your life.
Yeah. Okay.
Some it may be like the first person, and that person may stick.
Mm-hmm.
But it may not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Ask Sunny, man.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
She's sticking with 3.
No. Because I guess. I guess maybe I was just thinking in my head, like, how do you, like, when do you determine that? I guess you can only determine that when you look back.
That's correct, yeah.
You're just like, okay, this person was very influential in this one. Okay, now I know I'm ready for the one whenever that happens, or something like that. Okay, no, just wondering.
I'm trying to see if there's like a speech somewhere. I could play a 36-second clip, or I can't from the movie.
You could just read it.
I know it's a clip. I can't read it.
Oh, I thought you had like the script. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, I do actually. Hold on, I have the monologue. Okay. He goes, "You got to do what your heart tells you to do. Let me tell you something right now. You're only allowed 3 great women in your lifetime. They come along like great fighters every 10 years. Rocky Marciano, Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Louis. Sometimes you get them all at once." And he's like, "Me, I had 3 when I was 16. That happens. What are you going to do? That's the way it goes, So I'll tell you right now, you see the girl, maybe this girl, she puts the wind in your sails. Maybe she's the first great one. All right, listen to me. You pull up right where she lives." And this is when he tells him how to do the door test. Yeah. But that's basically how it goes. And then she didn't open the door. He said, "Dump her." And he's like, "Dump her?" "Dump her." He's like, "Dump her. Dump her right there." Great movie. All right. You get the gist of what he was saying.
Yeah, I got it.
Could happen all at once, he said. That's what Sonny says. You got to just roll with what Sonny says.
All at once, Jesus. You're all the ones. Woo! You're like, that's crazy. Jesus. All right, Sonny. No, but I mean, anybody else wants to? I mean, do you? I know you gave advice, but since you like completed the journey, and this is essentially your podcast, your episode podcast about finding the one after the one. Do you have any advice for anybody out there who is in a rut right now and is like, "Yo, I'm never gonna freaking find love, and what the hell do I do?"
No, definitely I do. First of all, I mean, you always think, "Oh, I'm never going to find anybody," if you're in a rut, and you never. My biggest thing was when I wasn't looking, that's when it happened, and I know everybody says that. It's like you can't force it. Mm-hmm. You can't go out and say, "Oh, I'm going to go out to the club tonight and find the one," or "I'm going to go out to Starbucks and find the one," or Comic-Con and find the one.
Right.
I think if you just let it be, it'll just happen. It'll natural progression. You'll end up bumping into somebody, and it'll be in the place you least expect it to be. Mm-hmm. And for me, that happened. I never expected this to happen. I never expected to be where I am today in my relationship with my wife. But here I am. So I'm living proof that it can happen. And I was down in the dumps at one point, and I thought it was never going to happen, and it eventually did happen. Mm-hmm. So there's hope out there.
Yeah.
No. Like, not only am I the president, I'm also a client.
Yeah. No. It's going really well. I mean, I've known your wife for 17 years.
Yes.
She's awesome. And of course, I love your little girl. She's cool. And of course,
the new one coming.
3
more weeks.
Congrats.
It's gonna 3 more weeks.
3 more weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So I got you before you're not gonna have any sleep.
Well, I lost sleep during the first one. So.
Okay. There you go. No, that's freaking awesome, man. Like, that's good. Thank you for the advice you're saying, and also thank you for being on the show, man.
Oh,
seriously.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great, right?
It is great.
Come back and talk about whatever you like.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
You invite me, I'll be here. So
awesome.
Yeah. Whatever topic you want to talk about.
I have lots of other stories too. So.
Yes, I love new stories.
Good dating stories and dates and bad dates. So.
That's awesome.
Oh, me and Martina just tell the same stories. So.
Yeah. Everybody
knows our stories.
Freaking tired of us.
They're like, "We know you went out with a date on this guy and blah blah." We shut up. I have a song.
Yes, so we're gonna get to a song of the day. So please,
I can't
Jen.
play it because of whatever reasons. We gotta look into that. So I don't doesn't like have to go with the topic as much as it has to go with when I heard this song, like it made me feel like, you ever hear a song and it like makes you feel love?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure I'll use it for another one, but Anthony David's words used to make me feel that. Yeah. This song has just wiped it out the atmosphere.
Oh wow, that was a standby too.
I know, and I have to let it go. Okay. So this song is like, I feel like this is like a song that would be like a really pretty wedding song that like when you're with the one, you feel it, and that you basically, I don't know, just that feeling that you feel when you feel like you see the one. It's like written in this song. Okay. And it's so awesome, and I can't sing it to you because it's.
Please do it.
No, I don't.
Yes.
No,
I love that.
I'm not even going to read you the lyrics. I'm going to make you go home and listen to it in the car on the way home.
Okay, who's the artist? It's
by James Arthur. James Arthur. I think he's from the UK. Yeah, he's a British singer and songwriter. And the song is "Say You Won't Let Go."
Okay, James Arthur, "Say You Won't Let Go."
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just beautiful. It's really I like listening to it on repeat. So
that's awesome.
So listen to it on the way home, and you'll go home and be like all romantic with your wife.
Will do.
When you listen to it, do you feel your boyfriend?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I told him, I was like, listen to it, and he's like, this is corny. But like he doesn't like he likes, like, I don't know. I told him we have to like find another PC word because he always says like that. He's like, stop being gay. I'm like, don't say that. And he's like, gay means happy, and I'm like,
stupid. Yeah,
I'm like, not anymore. It doesn't. Like, we have to be PC, babe. And he's like, that's what it means though. He's like, I don't mean it like that. I'm like, I know, but stop. But he's like, stop being gay. But he likes that stuff, you know, like he likes being romantical,
cheesy, mushy,
doing cheesy things, taking pictures in the same place where we took pictures last year.
Oh, romantic!
So you gotta do it.
So
it's good to reminisce,
and that's what you have to remember.
I know.
That's what you have to remember. Fuck Facebook. Okay.
I know.
That's what you gotta remember.
Let it be.
Exactly. All right. So cool. So. Anybody out there, have you found, do you have any stories? Have you found the one after the one? Please write to us at bedlovebeyond@gmail.com. You can go to our website, www.bedlovebeyond.com, and you'll see multiple articles about this subject. You can give us a call or text us at 201-862-8-BED. That is 201-862-8233. And you can also go to our Facebook and like that page, and you can also talk to our fans on there at www.facebook.com/bedlovebeyond. And also you can follow us on all social media platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. That is the end of the show. My name is Martini.
I'm Jenn.
And thank you, George, for being here again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and we'll see you guys.
Go listen to that song, people.
See you soon.
Bye.